discover this session just to get involved in everything that we are going to be working on in today's session. So remember, this is our negotiation and sales techniques class. This session we are going to be learning about some negotiation techniques. So today we are going to be learning about negotiation and sales vocabulary. We are going to be learning some keywords when negotiating and when selling a product or selling something. So we are going to be learning a couple of things. So basically, I need you to please pay close attention and take some notes, because there are some words and some vocabulary that we need to learn and we need to keep in mind every time that we are in a negotiation or when we are in a process of selling something. So welcome again, and let's start. So to start, here we have negotiation and sales. So we are going to be learning some vocabulary. We are going to be discussing some components and some elements. So it is really important to learn that some elements when in a negotiation and when in a selling product, selling a service, selling something. So we have to keep in mind those things. So let's start with the key vocabulary when negotiation. So we are going to be dividing it into two parts. So the first one is negotiation and the second one is sales. Okay, so when negotiating, when in a negotiation, we have this vocabulary word, BATNA, best alternative to a negotiator agreement. So when we are in a negotiation, sometimes it is important to know that there are some alternatives. So a couple of them are good for you and some others are good for the customer. So we have to know that to get an agreement, sometimes we have to leave. We have to just leave that the customer is making a negotiation, is making a process in that way. Sometimes you're going to get the goal, you're going to get a great margin of the process, and sometimes you're not going to get what was expected. Sometimes it is going to be a win-win outcome, so you both win. So that means the customer and the seller, they both win. So that's the idea, that's the objective. And in order to get that, we got to get the concession. So it means both parties, you and the customers, both parties get the agreement. That's concession to get the leverage, obviously. And also we have counter offer. So what is someone offering? If the thing that you are offering is the correct thing, or if it is not. And also active listening. So it is important, guys. Key vocabulary, when we say key vocabulary, so it means you have to keep in mind that active listening, counter offer, leverage, concession, win-win, BATNA, those words are going to be useful, and those concepts itself are useful when in a negotiation. So now let's move to the next page, because we have the key vocabulary when selling. The previous slide was mentioning some words when in a negotiation process, when you are dealing with some customers. Now let's take into account some vocabulary words when selling, the process of selling. You are offering, when selling, when advertisement a product or services, anything else. You know the value proposition, why the customer needs to buy, why the customer needs to get that service. So the value, you know the proposition, why, the reason. You also need to lead generation. You have to lead through the negotiation process, through the selling process, the generation, to get what? To get conversation rate, to know that if the customer gets the product in the correct way, so the customer is going to be saying good news about you. Customer relationship management, CRM. The customer needs to have a good relationship with the seller, with the employee in this case. So if you are in this process, you must know the product, you must know what you are offering, you must know everything related to the service you're offering to the customer. So customer relationship management, upselling, and the last one we have closing techniques. There are a couple of techniques that we must know, because probably if you are selling and if you are just interested in selling or in offering a product or offering something, sometimes you get frustrated because the rest of the people are not getting what you are offering. So that means, hey, come on, let's take a break. Let's take into account that sometimes you're going to get everything, but sometimes you're not gonna get what you're offering. So take into account, sometimes you're a winner, sometimes you're a loser. It would depend, but in some cases the best idea is to know the closing techniques. So now let's move on, because we have the core components of negotiation. When in a negotiation, then we are going to know the components when selling something. You must know the preparation and planning before going to have a discussion with a customer, with a company. You must be prepared. Okay, you must be ready. You must know everything related to the product, related to the service, because you're not gonna be offering just something. Okay, you're going to be planning, preparing, keeping in mind that the customer or the people to whom you are offering the service or the product, they are going to be asking some questions. Obviously, they are going to be trying to get lower prices, or they are going to be trying to get the service or the product better than the advantages that probably you are offering. So preparation and planning. Then definition of ground rules. You must know every rule, you must know every definition, you must know everything in the field. Okay. Third one, clarification and justification. Okay, you must not get confused the customer. So if you are offering, let's take an example of, if you are offering a service of internet, you must know that, hey, you need internet. Okay, you need it fast, or you need a serviceability for that location, but in a lower price. Okay, so let's clarify some doubts, some inquiries that they may have. Bargaining and problem solving. Let's try to solve some inconvenience. There are some inconvenience all the time. All the time they may have some inconvenience. So let's try to solve those problems. Then we have closure and implementation. Okay, let's close everything. Let's implement some rules. Let's take into account the process, the next step that they might follow. And at the end, obviously, we have the components of selling. When selling, prospecting, approach, presentation, handling objections, closing, and follow-up. That's interesting, because when selling a product or a service, sometimes you're going to show the service or present the service, but they may have some objections. What is an objection? An objection is like a negation. It's like saying, no, that service is not good for me, for my company, because you are offering 300 megabytes and I need 500 megabytes. Hey, no, I can't. So please, let's move on. Let's close this deal. I don't want to continue working on that. And you're going to be following up. If you win that service, if you win that the project, if you win that service, okay, continue following up until they have whatever they are asking for. So that's basically the deal. So here we have a couple of essential elements of negotiation. These essential elements of negotiation are useful because they are the key. They are the beginning of the process. We have interest, options, legitimacy, communication, relationship, and commitment. It is important to keep in mind those elements because when in a negotiation, you must try to get involved both parties, negotiator and customers. So you have to show them some options. There must be a good communication, legitimacy. So that means it is everything great, correct, not doubt, to not misunderstand the concepts. And in that communication, you must have relationship and commitment. So everything in mind. Keep in mind commitment. Okay. Now, last one, elements for selling or when selling. Product knowledge. Okay. So keep in mind, you have to know everything about the product or the service that you're offering. Customer needs analysis. Okay, what they need. Okay, you're offering this. But if they're asking for something, they're looking for something else. Okay, show the correct product. Persuasive communication. Try to get as much information as you can. Trust building. And if they are looking for a product, they must trust on you, and you must be trustworthy. A trustworthy employee, a trustworthy person in that communication process. Value delivery and performance tracking. So let's keep in mind all those essential elements of selling, because sometimes we may forget the process. So keep in mind those elements when in selling, in the process of selling. So guys, understand the vocabulary, components, and elements of negotiation and sales is essential for effective communication, relationship building, and achievement business goals. Take into account there are no doubts, there are no more ways to get what you are looking for. So continue working, continue in the process, continue in the deal, because these elements, these vocabulary are going to be useful during the semester and during your life. You want to get something related to the customer service. So guys, thank you for watching this video. It's my pleasure to be brief and to make a recap of everything about this class. So thank you guys for watching this video, and see you next time. Bye bye and take care.